people of the internet, I am LUCHA MAN, and welcome to LUCHA MAN Reviews. This review is a little late, I apologize for that. Secondly, I've been informed by test subject 1337 they're still working on the Breath of the Wild first DLC review. They still have to review it and play it and film it. So yeah, they'll get to that, but yeah. Alright, so first of all, happy St. Patrick's Day everyone, hence the wearing of the green, which is pretty good for me. Yeah, and since it's St. Patrick's Day, we are about to celebrate Toonami's birthday. Woo! That's right. St. Patrick's Day coincides pretty much with when Toonami was first out and about many years ago, so this is awesome. What better way to celebrate Toonami than by doing a review of their the new show that premiered last week. Well, not a new show, but the new and final season, Season 5. Long ago in a distant land, Aku, the evil shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed an unspeakable evil. But a samurai warrior wielding a magic sword stepped forth to oppose him. Unfortunately, before the final blow could be struck, Aku tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future. Now the samurai seeks to return to the past and undo the evil that is Aku. Yeah. So, the future. Aku's evil is law, and yes, this was the intro that we were given for Samurai Jack. And for 4 seasons, we saw Jack bravely fight the good fight, and then we ended on quite possibly the weirdest season finale, series finale, cliffhanger of all time. Many years passed. Then we got a comic book series, which, according to the official creator of the show, doesn't really tie into the show, but I think it could potentially, the way some of the episodes are set up and whatnot, it could be some fill-in spots, since not every episode is a consistent day after day after day of the... Anyway, yeah. So, we now have Season 5 of Samurai Jack. It's on Toonami, it's on the Adult Swim lineup, so... Alright, let's go over some of the facts. In the first episode, Samurai Jack says... Alright, before I do this, be warned, there may be some spoilers. This is just a review / first impression of the first episode of the 5th season. There's some stuff I will go over in greater detail at the end of this episode review. Alright, so watch with caution. So, in the first episode, Jack says it has been 50 years. And that was what was announced on the internet. We're like, okay, so... I was thinking this is going to be something along the lines of like with Assassin's Creed, with the Ezio Auditore, where we got multiple games out of him. We got him in his prime, and then we saw him in the later stages of life. But Jack, he says it's been 50 years, but he does not age. So apparently, Aku throwing him into the future, there was some side effect to his magic, where Samurai Jack doesn't age. His hair still grows and he still has to eat and sleep and avoid the elements and not get killed, but he doesn't age like the rest of us. So when I was first seeing this, I was like, okay, there's one of 3 factors. Factor 1. Well, one of 3 possibilities. Possibility 1. Jack says it's been 50 years from the time when Aku first returned up to what's happening now in this 5th season. I thought that's what it was, but the way he kind of describes it in the episode, that theory is kind of ruled out. So we have 2 other theories. Theory 2. It has been 50 years since the end of Season 4. Sorry. It gets itchy under this thing. Yeah, so he says it could be 50 years since the end of Season 4. That is a possibility, like the whole, time alteration between the real world that we live in and the world that we watch Jack in. But the third theory I think makes the most sense. It's been 50 years since Jack was first flung into the future. Seriously, Jack was a kid and then he spent several years learning all these different combat styles to try to take on Aku. And then, after years, he's then thrown into the future. So let's say he was like maybe in his mid to late 20s, maybe his 30s, at some point when he was thrown into the future. If he, given all his training, given his background training of everything that he's done, he would be in great physical shape and in the prime of his life. So naturally, for like a few years, he wouldn't notice anything. But after 50 years, he'd still be like, I still have the same body. I don't have wrinkles. My hair isn't gray. My eyesight and everything is still good. So that probably was something. Yeah, so I think that's what's happened. I think it has been 50 years. And here's what. I think watching this season and watching the episodes from all the first 4 seasons, think about it. Each episode was not just like a this happened in this one particular day thing. There is some stuff that takes place within one day, but if you watch, there are some episodes that could take place over the span of multiple days. And there's some stuff you don't see how much time does pass. Like training could be within one day or within a couple of days. And the events between each episode could be spaced out. So I'm thinking the first 4 seasons, I don't know, like, let's just say for argument's sake, maybe 10 years? Maybe 10 years passed within those first 4 seasons, more or less, ballpark. It's your guess is as good as mine. Alright, yeah, sorry for that. So, now, Samurai Jack's back. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's neither. It is a great thing. Alright. Now, since Samurai Jack is on Toonami's The Adult Swim lineup, I think this. Samurai Jack came out, and it was a great show for everyone, and I think the show has aged and matured, and it also has counted on the fact of its audience aging and maturing. It has some elements from its origins, but I think it's matured over time. Alright, here's a comparison and contrast. We had Teen Titans Go. We have Teen Titans, which then became Teen Titans Go. The original Teen Titans, great animation, great stories. It knew how to balance the humor and the seriousness. And then it went away, and then when we got it back, the animation quality dropped significantly, and it then focused solely on the humor. So the quality suffered in a couple of realms. As for Samurai Jack, it was aware that time has passed, a lot of factors have changed, and it didn't want... I like this. It hasn't insulted its audience. It has matured. It has still... seriously, there's like 1 or 2 areas in the first episode which still kind of have a chuckle here or there. But yeah, the show is significantly darker and edgier. I think it has matured, and I'm hoping that... So, if you grew up watching Samurai Jack and you love it, then I think you'll like this also. Just be warned, it's a little darker and a little edgier. And if you're trying to introduce younger people or your kids to it, start with the first season and let them work into it. You don't want to introduce this to them right off the bat. The animation quality, it is great. It is so reminiscent of the original. And the best part is, it doesn't have the outlines. It does not have the outlines. They kept that. I am so thankful for that. But with time passing, and the technology has improved substantially for animation. From the first episode, I could see there were some things that they didn't have in the first 4 seasons. So yeah, they've picked up some new tricks, and the animation is just as good, if not better. In fact, there are some areas that it looks phenomenal, even more so than it was the first time, so it looks great. Sound-wise, the sound effects are amazing. The original voice actor for Samurai Jack's back, and here's what. The original voice actor who played Aku was also the voice actor for Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, who we've unfortunately lost. May he rest in peace. Right now, probably on the screen is appearing the name of the new gentleman who is being the voice of Aku. We have heard a snippet of him a little bit in the first episode. We haven't seen Aku, and we have only heard him a little bit for the first episode. So I am looking forward to hopefully seeing this new Aku, hearing this new Aku voice, and hopefully the voice is done justice. Alright, so the story is pretty much the same. Jack is still in the future. Aku is still running rampant. It has been 50 years. But now, this is the final season. So, I'm wondering if it'll have the same amount of episodes as the previous 4 seasons. The numbers are probably now appearing on the screen. So yeah, I think I'm taking a guess from what I remember off the top of my head. It's 13 weeks. Alright, so here's what. At this point, Jack has grown. He has learned to adapt to the world around him. He has changed a bit in his combat abilities. He has a new style. He's learned to adapt to his surroundings and to use more than just his sword. I like that. It's kind of like with the first series, with the first 4 seasons. Not every sure, Jack, that was his go-to weapon, but there were some episodes, like there was the time when Jack was turned into a chicken, and he had to learn to adapt to fight with only using his limbs, and in a different body, and as a different species entirely. I kind of like that. It shows how Jack is multidimensional. Another factor is Aku, who is, well, the main demon of the series. We see how the time spent in the future has affected Jack. So not only does he have Aku, the head demon, he has his own internal demons. He has some personal issues that he is working through. We can see this in the first episode. Yes. If I was to take a guess, I am no medical expert, I have no idea, but this might, from the look of it, Jack seems to be having some form of post-traumatic stress disorder. Maybe. Now, I'm not sure what it would be called since it's still ongoing and continuous. PTSD, I think, would be after all the combat is done. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this, I'm just guessing, but it looks like Jack is having some serious problems because of how long he's been stuck in the future and fighting the fight. And then, of course, we see this final season introduces a new series of villains, something that Jack has not faced before. Now, yeah, this show is definitely, it's darker, it's edgier, but with one episode down, I'm excited to see what the future episodes will hold and to see how they will end this series. Again, like I said, the comic books could hold their ground somewhere within the first 4 seasons and as filler spots. But it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Now then, there's a few things. First of all, alright. I'll just get right to it. The final score for just this first impression review of the first episode of the 5th season. Hang on. Excuse me. I am proud to give, without any reservations whatsoever, I give Samurai Jack Season 5 a 10 out of 10. And for the entire... So I think it's safe to say, Samurai Jack as a whole, all 5 seasons, solid 10 for 10. This is quite possibly the greatest work ever. This is a masterpiece from Cartoon Network. In fact, it is something... This is like a pedestal of animation itself. Great story. Knows how to balance humor and seriousness. Great characters, great plot. There's character development. Everything about this show hits the right notes. In fact, if anyone from Cartoon Network is watching, I am begging you, please. When the 5th season is finally over and we finally learned everything that's happened, with everything getting an art book nowadays, I would love to see an art book of all the concept art and stuff from this show. Everything is amazing. If you haven't seen Samurai Jack, I highly recommend it. Serious. Like I said, it is a very great thing. It is one of the defining principles of the animation industry. And, well, not just animation, like I said, story and all that other stuff. Yeah, I'm gushing about the show, I am. I'm sorry, but it is great. You have to watch it. Okay. And now, so... watch Samurai Jack and enjoy Toonami's upcoming birthday. It is great. So this is the end of the regular thing, and now we're going into spoilery territory. So if you're done watching, thank you for sticking around. And now, here cometh the spoilers. Alright, welcome to the post-show, after the show. Alright, so let's get a few spoilers out of the way from the first episode. If you've seen everything already, then I don't feel bad about this. If you haven't, you've been warned. Okay, first of all, Jack's sword is gone. I am shocked. I am worried. I am very surprised by this. I mean, I saw him doing the combat with all the other stuff, but I was like, cool, Jack has learned how to use other stuff. He's using like a staff with a blade on the end and an electric on the other end. He has guns. He's armored up in full samurai shogun warrior gear, and he's using a motorcycle, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, his sword is gone, and we see he has lost it. Oh man, we've got to get the sword back. That's the only thing that can defeat Aku. So basically, we now see Jack is now... He can't go back and do the ultimate correction, so right now he's trying to just do damage control in the present, i.e. future. Alright, so secondly, we've seen the 7 daughters of Aku. 7 daughters of evil. Half evil and... yeah, so Aku has this creepy cult worshipping him. Oh man, and now... So, for the majority of the first 4 seasons, pretty much everything that Jack faced was mechanical. Yeah, I think that's what helped the show last for so long. They didn't want Jack to kill anything that was alive. Everything pretty much had to be a robot. I think there's like maybe only 1 or 2 things that Jack faced that were not mechanical. One was like the Rock Viking, and the other, and anything else he faced, he didn't kill. Like there was no blood spurting. I lost a hand. But now in this season, I have seen blood. So, and Jack will be facing living the Daughters of Aku, so he may have to kill. And from the trailers we've seen, there is going to be blood involved. So, like we said, this is going to be darker and edgier. Oh man, the Daughters of Aku, the way they have all the masks on, they look alike, but from one of the trailers I saw, they use different weapons. It reminds me of the basket robots that we saw in one of the previous seasons. They all look like baskets, but each one has a different weapon, like a chainsaw or endless throwing stars, a blade, fire. You know, it's in one of the seasons. Look it up. And so here's what the thing. When I saw these, so it reminded me of the robots, but then I was like, oh man, this is... It also reminded me of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. As you play a little bit through the game, here's what you have: the Sheikah, who are dedicated to trying to help the Hyrule people. But then you have like the other clan, they're like the anti-Sheikah, the opposite Sheikah, the names appearing up here on the screen right now. Seriously, their logo is basically a Sheikah symbol upside down, and if you like talk to a random person in the world, the person will poof and they no longer look like a person, they look like the anti-Sheikah, I think it's the Ira clan? Yeah. But still, yeah, so we have a group of dedicated warriors with one specific mission: to kill Samurai Jack. So they could also be like those hunters that we saw from one episode where they were off planet and they came to Earth. But while there was combat and hunting, there was no blood loss or dismemberment. And they had some sense of honor for hunting Samurai Jack and then letting him go. Like I said, this is spoiler territory, sorry. But still, yeah, so great. I'm loving how this is going to be going, and I love Samurai Jack. Great show. Love the season. Love how it's back. Excited to see how it ends. I hope I won't be disappointed. So far, I'm not, and one of my friends who's also a fan of Samurai Jack is very happy with how the show has returned. Yes, sorry this episode and the post-show review took so long. Thank you for sticking that with me. I'll get this posted today, St. Patrick's Day. Thank you all for watching. Alright. Happy birthday to Toonami. Welcome back, Jack. And until next time, gushing with no apologies for it. Okay, there were some apologies, but gushing happily about it is Lucha Man. Saying thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.